Hello, and welcome to the third lab session, Model-Driven Apps in Power Apps, part of the App in a Day training. My name is Eric Levin, and I am a Principal Solutions Architect and a Microsoft Business Applications MVP working in the city of New York. In the third hands-on lab, we'll cover the third module of App in a Day training, Power Apps Model-Driven Apps. If you have not completed the introduction lab, which go over the prerequisites, and the first two labs of this training, please stop now and go back to this lab to make sure that you're ready to go. In this third lab, we'll cover over creating a standalone model-driven app, customizing the form and the view for the model-driven app, and the creation of a business process flow. Now, let's go ahead and start with the lab. Let's navigate to the beginning of the first lab. Although the lab mentions to select home and click on model-driven app, as we created a solution for our app in a day, we're going to open that solution, and from that solution we're going to select new, select app, and model-driven app. This will open the designer, and we'll have the prefix for the unique name is app in a day. We'll call our app device procurement, and we'll use the default settings. I'll select use existing solution to create the app. Click on next. I'll select the solution app in a day and press the done. At this point in time, we're able to start working on our app and set up the sitemap for this application. I'll click on the edit sitemap. I'll rename the new area back office, and we'll provide it a name called nav back office. I'll rename the new group, which is the default value, as orders, and call it nav orders. And finally, for the new sub area, I'll select the device orders. So I'll select this as an entity. I'll enter the name of the entity, device order. The title is not required as I already have that as part of the entity. And I'll enter a name as device orders. I'll click on Save and Close. And then I'll save my app designer and publish it. And now I can go hit and as save and close. And you will see that my solution now has a model-driven app and a sitemap that were created for it. The next part is we're going to add some procurement fields that are necessary for the device orders. So I'm going to go back to my entity or click on my entity, device order, and start adding fields to it. The first field that I need to add is capital approved. This is a two options field with the values of yes, no, and we'll create 4 more two options fields as device received, device configured, send a survey, and finally device delivered. We'll add one more field called supplier order ID, of data type text, and then we'll go ahead and save the entity. The next part that we need to do is create the business process flow. Since there's no parity yet between the classic interface and the model-driven app, we'll need to switch to classic interface in order to enable the business process flow. So within our device order entity, we'll go ahead and click on switch to classic. And within our classic interface, we'll check on the business process flow. We'll go ahead, click Save and Close. And within our app in a day solution, we'll go ahead and publish all customizations. In order to add our business process flow, we'll click on the flows on the left navigation, select business process flows, and click on the new button. We'll enter a name for the business process flows as device procurement process, and we'll select the entity for the business process flow as device order. And we'll go ahead and click on the create button. Once we're within the business process flow, we'll click on the new stage and change the display name to device requested. We'll click apply, expand the details, and click on the first step. We'll specify the request date and enter the request date here. And then we'll click on the add button to add another data step. And we'll call the second data step approval status. We could just select the field name and it will modify the state name as well. And we'll click apply for that as well. We'll add one more data step. For price. Next, we'll go ahead and click on the Components tab to add another stage. So we'll click on the stage and drag it next to the first stage. We'll change the display name of this new stage to place order. And in the details, we'll specify the estimated ship date as the first step. We can also drag from here a data step instead of clicking the Add button. And we'll select for the second field the supplier order ID. And set it to required. We'll select the Components tab again and add another stage next to device order. We'll call this stage Receive Device. Apply, and in the details we'll add the date received. For the data step, we'll add the date received, the device received, and we'll add one more data step that is basically the receive date, which is the device configured. Go ahead and apply this. And finally, we'll add one more stage, and we'll name it Distribute Device. And under Distribute Device, in the first data step, we'll call it Device Delivered. And then add one more data step, which will be Send Survey. Now that we've entered all 4 stages of the procurement process, we're going to add a branching condition. So we're going to add components, and we're going to add a condition between the first and the second step. And my condition will be to check the price. So I'm going to call check price condition, and basically if my price is greater than 1,000, or we can set it is greater than or equal to 1,000, we'll go ahead and click Save, and we'll see that a new device has been added. So if my price is not equal to over 1,000, it will skip this stage. If it is, I got to this new device stage. We'll name this stage as Capital Approval. And we'll add or we'll set the field requirement to capital approved, the data field to capital approved. We'll click Apply and Save. So we can see our process is device order, the device is requested, we'll check the price. If it's over $1,000, it will go through the rest of the process. If it's less than $1,000, it will skip the capital approval step and move to the device order, place, receive, and distribute order. Go ahead and activate. And I can go ahead and save it as well. Let me try activate one more time. Activate. Okay, and we can go ahead and close this, and we'll see that the device procurement process is activated. We'll go back to Solutions and publish all customizations. Next, we'll go and modify the forms and the views. So we'll go back to our device entity. We'll click on Forms. And we'll see that we have the information card and main form. We'll go ahead and click on the information on the main form. And we'll now start adding fields to the design form. We'll first add the approval field above the device name. And we'll go move the approval field under the owner. We'll click Save. And publish. Now we'll go back and see if we can customize the view. I'll click on View, and I'll go into my Active Device Orders view. I'll select Approval Status, and I'll drag the column after the Created On field. I can expand it a little bit. I'll click on the plus button and select the estimated ship date. I'll click on the plus button again, change the default to all, and I'll add the price. And the status. I'll go ahead and save and publish the view. Once published, I'll click the back button again. I'll go into my App in a Day solution, select the model-driven app, and click on the play. Finally, let's go and review the two orders that I created. I have an order which is under $1,000 and an order that is over. If I go to the order, the first order, I'll see that my business process flow has 4 stages. Device requested, place order, receive device, and distribute device. And if I click on each one of those orders, I can basically move through my process. If I go to my next order, I will notice that I have my capital approval stage. So I'll go ahead, approve this, move to the next stage, and I see that I have my capital approval field here. In our final lab, we'll start creating a Microsoft flow or Microsoft Power Automate flow that will work on the approval process so that orders can automatically be approved. I hope you enjoyed this last session, and please continue to watch.